What's up, Hustle Nation? If you're looking to put a little muscle behind that low carb hustle, you are in the right spot. This is Nate Palmer, and we're here today with Angela Campbell. Angela, so great to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here.
So you run the Fit Mompreneur, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about that. Like, what's been your journey with like kind of creating the business that serves people who are like you? As I know you're an entrepreneur, you're a mom, you're awesome at what you do. Like, how did that all come about? How did that come together for you?
Honestly, it came together through my own struggles, to be honest with you, as an entrepreneur and a mom and trying to juggle, all the things. And, we as women are really good about putting on all the pressure, thinking we have to do it all and we have to do it all right now. And we have to sacrifice our health in order to have success in business, in order to take care of our entire families. And that's really just how it was all born. Was I got into the worst place of what I call like my rock bottom, to a place I was, basically starving myself. I was so busy. I couldn't slow down enough to eat, working every, moment that I possibly could and not sleeping. I just wasn't taking care of myself. And I realized I wasn't showing up for anybody that well. And honestly, businesses started crumbling. I mean, we got to a place where we were actually paid our mortgage on a credit card 2 months in a row because we got that bad. And it was a turning point for me, which really led me to all the stuff that I do now, and why I'm so passionate about really helping women that are in similar places that I was. And I mean, it just drives me to wake up every day and do what I do because I was there.
Love that. And I think you already said so much. Like, I want to go back to talking a little bit about how it seems like a lot of us, but especially our moms, put themselves last at the expense of their health, their emotions, their energy. Because I feel like, I don't know how you were raised, but like, I feel like that generation, like our parents, was all about like self-sacrifice. If like I see a sword, I'm going to go land on that. Like, I'm not taking care of myself because that's like a badge of honor. So yeah, I can't wait to talk more about that with you.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I grew up with a single mom. My dad was not present. And I just saw her. She never cried. I never saw emotion. Like, I just know she made it happen. I never knew that, she struggled, she didn't let us see it. She literally was the epitome of like independent, strong woman. I don't need anybody. I'm going to take care of these girls. It was just me and my sister. And so, yeah, I grew up in that sense of, she still to this day puts us first, and now my kids first. And I'm like, Mom, you got to take care of yourself too. But that's who she is. And that's how I grew up knowing. So I just, did the same. I did the same for years.
If I could right now, I'd put on the Pussycat Dolls song, I Don't Need a Man. I would definitely throw that up. I'm not totally sure how technology works, but if I could just have started playing that in the background really slowly. So just imagine that's happening right now.
Oh yeah.
So I want to like kind of with that in mind, like this episode's coming, it's kind of like our Mother's Day special episode. So I'm super glad you came on. We're going to talk all about moms, how moms can get into shape, how they can put themselves first. But I want to start off by doing just a quick game show with you, a quick pop quiz, as it were. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So this game.
You worried me already.
It's called Mom or Aunt.
Okay.
So I'm not talking about your mom or your mom's sister. I'm talking about the small insect creature that, there's billions or trillions of in the world. And I'm going to say a sentence and you have to tell me, is that a characteristic of a mom or is that a characteristic of an ant, the insect? Okay.
Okay.
Just heads. This is going to be trickier than you think, or probably not. I'm not totally sure yet. All right. So imagine. I'm just going to say a sentence. I'm going to start saying like this animal, something. It's like, I mean, moms, animals, ants, probably animals. I don't really know how words work. So, and then you to tell me mom or aunt. Are you up for that? Are you ready?
I'm up for it. Let's have fun with it.
No, this is going to happen today to you?
No, you didn't tell me about a quiz.
I did not get consent for this, just in case anyone's wondering.
No judgment of my answer.
Angela Campbell, the Fit Mompreneur, mom or aunt, round one. This animal can carry 50 times its body weight in dirty clothes.
In dirty clothes?
Well, that's kind of, just let's just start with 50 times its body weight.
I would say an ant.
That's correct. It is an ant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even if it was a mom, that would still be like, 5,000 pounds of clothes. It's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, some days it feels like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, ant.
Okay, correct. You win. You get the first round, first prize belongs to you. We'll discuss the prizes after the show because I thought about them ahead of time. I didn't think about them. Follow-up question to that. How many loads of laundry have you done sequentially? What's your max? What's your PR?
Oh my gosh. There was a point in my journey until I got myself down into a system and a routine that I felt like I did like 2 to 3 loads a freaking day and it never ended. It was a cycle that never stopped. So, man, I don't know
purgatory.
Yeah, I mean, it is probably, I don't know, 7-ish.
God, that's a lot of socks.
Yeah.
Okay, follow-up to the follow-up question. Do you do your husband's laundry?
Yes.
Oh, wow. You are extremely kind, generous. Let's see if we can break that habit today on this podcast.
I'm down. I'm totally down for that.
Don't tell him that we're doing this. Don't tell him about this episode.
I will not.
Mom or aunt, we're back to it. Back to the quiz. Okay. Right. This animal has the fastest movement in the animal kingdom. Is it A, a mom turning around as she hears her kid go, uh-oh? Or is it B, an ant closing its jaws?
I'll have to say ant on that one too.
That's correct. It is an ant. An ant can close its jaw at over 140 miles per hour. That's legitimately the fastest move that any animal can do. So that's kind of, fun ant fact for you.
That's interesting. And I only say that because as a mom, you eventually, maybe after the first kid, but then you get to suck it in a third and you're like, it's all good. I'll get to it later. You just start to like zone it out.
They'll probably be fine. I'm not hearing any screaming yet. So
yeah, the scream that is the scream you need to go address right away or not.
Although my son is just like just a crier. So like I won't like give him, like the avocado off the floor. And all of a sudden it's like someone slapped him. He's just bawling. And I'm like, man, you are like, there's like a cautionary tale in there about you as a child crying wolf or crying avocado. Yeah. I don't know. All right. This animal uses chemicals to communicate with its family.
Uses chemicals?
Chemicals, yeah.
I would go for an ant on this one again.
I would have honestly accepted either one because I feel like you got to Febreze that room.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, y'all are stinky. Smells like farts in here. Got to Febreze. Yeah. That's a communication. But I'm going to give it to you for ant. Ants actually like only use chemicals to communicate. Some of them don't have eyes. Most of them don't have lungs. And I don't think any of them have ears. So.
Wow. See, I didn't even know about that.
There's more than 10,000 different types of ants in the world.
Oh my gosh.
So we're learning a lot together right now.
We are.
I had like 14 tabs open in my browser preparing for this episode that were all like fun ant facts. All the websites were geared for third graders, which is exactly my speed.
Yeah, that's my level. I'm good.
All right, just a couple more ant questions on mom or ant questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So far, you're 3 for 3. That's pretty good. That means I think I need to make these questions harder.
Nah.
This animal hates picking up after their family.
Oh, that's mom.
That's right. That's mom. That's a good job.
That's mom all day long.
This animal is considered the queen.
Mom.
That's correct. It is mom. A lot of people would say ant, but it's mom. It's mom. Because most ants are male. And they serve at her pleasure. So you're 5 for 5. All right. Last question. Mom or ant? This is the hardest one though. I don't know if you're gonna get this one right. The most painful sensation in the world, Angela Campbell, Fit Mompreneur. Is it either A, the bite of a bullet ant, or B, your mom looking you in the eyes and saying, I'm disappointed in you?
I I'm going to go with mom on that one.
It's the mom. It's the mom. Yeah. You can't walk that one off.
I know that would break my heart. I was always insensitive for me as a kid. Like, oh, that you could do anything else in the world to me. Just don't tell me I'm disappointed.
Don't tell me you're disappointed. A bullet ant sting, it says it's the most painful insect bite in the entire world. That's why they call it a bullet ant, because it feels like you got shot. But it's gone after 24 hours. So, and like the emotional scars never heal. So congratulations. Yeah. You're 6 for 6 on the first ever iteration of the mom or ant quiz. Congratulations.
Yay.
Everyone's proud of you. Everyone, all in the studio audience, everyone's like clapping.
I can hear them.
They're going wild right now for you, Angela. You're killing it. So tell me a little bit more about like what is you like some of the things that you talk about with your mom clients. How do you get them to like I feel like the biggest thing is not necessarily like, hey, you got to do cardio, you got to meal prep. It's like, you got to take care of yourself. You got to put yourself first. What do you do for that?
Yeah, honestly, that's probably like, yes, we tell, coach them how to eat, but in what to do with their workouts. But the conversation is so much more digging into their mind and really truly making the mindset shifts that they need to understand, like they need to put themselves first. Like, I think a lot of the conversations that I have too is helping them really understand, like you showing up the version of you now, like the exhausted, tired, unhappy, all the things that a lot of women are, you're bleeding out on your family in a negative way. Like when you totally shift yourself and you start working on yourself and you put your priorities on you, you're actually investing in your family too. And it's not the other way around, because so many moms think they're taking time or money away from their family. And instead it's really a mindset shift for them to understand, like, this is for them just as much as it is for you. That's probably one of the most common conversations we're having with them.
I've heard a lot about like, I mean, I'm sure you used this analogy before, but of the, like, you're in an airplane, you put your mask on first before you put it on your family, right? I'm sure you talk about that a lot with your clients.
You got to be amazed at how hard that is for women to grasp. Like,
I would not be amazed at all. I was going to wonder how often you have to have that same conversation, how long it takes for people to kind of wrap their mind around that, because we live in like kind of like a culture that glorifies the grind, the sleepless nights, the I'm doing the most. So like it's we're not set up in a way for moms to really get those accolades for working on themselves. So how is that process?
Yeah, well, and then if you put an entrepreneur, which is a lot of the women that we coach, on top of being a mom, like it's twice as hard. It's twice as hard for them to grasp. And honestly, I mean, everybody's always going to be different, but I mean, we have some women that'll go through like a 12-week program that I run, where we are literally baby stepping everything 1 week at a time to help them see that they don't have to do all or nothing. Sometimes, I mean, obviously some of them are year and a half, 2 years, still coaching with me, still making shifts. So, I mean, I mean, it takes at least 3 months for them to at least start making the changes. Oftentimes it's, a lot longer than that. Some women are years, it's so hard to say or put a time point on it, so to speak. And it's a regular conversation all the time.
Yeah, I believe that. I bet it's just a good reminder too, that like, you can probably be doing really well, then slip out of it and kind of fall back onto those habits, especially when things get busy, start playing Uber driver, taking kids to sporting events and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, kids get sick or death happens in the family. Like, I mean, here goes, we're almost like not quite at square one, but pretty close for them to help them see, okay, this isn't the stopping point. Life is always going to happen. You got to be able to overcome it and push through and just jump right back on the bandwagon. It's not a reason to quit on yourself again, because they have in the past.
One thing I feel like I notice a lot about moms and society. We live in such a society. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
But I feel like there's this like, if I go out with my kids, people are like, oh, daddy daycare, what a great dad. I'm like, I'm just in the store, like with kids. But if like a mom is expected like to not just, like be a stay-at-home mom and take care of kids and have like the family full time, like they also have to have a career on top of that, but they can't just have a career either. They have to be like, for women, they have to show up big at home, big in the workplace, and they have to like excel in all these different arenas, and they still never get the props that I get from being like, yeah, I took my kids on a bike ride 3 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No.
How do you feel about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Personally?
It's hard. That's a hard one to, yeah, it's frustrating, I would say, maybe frustrating in a way, but in reality, honestly, I think a lot of that honestly comes from a lot of the pressure that we have in as a mom and a woman and to be successful and do all the things. A lot of it comes from within, to be honest with you. More and more and more the women that I coach, and just the in-depth growth that I've been doing with life coaches and stuff, even in myself, I realized I was really bad about this too. My husband never put the pressure on me. He's like the biggest, I don't know, I can't even tell you if he's ever said no in the, 10 plus years we've been together. It's pressure that I've put on myself though, to do it all. And on top of that, women have the hardest time. This is probably the second most common thing that I talk to the women with, or that we coach, is just seeing how they are winning. They're so focused on what the 19 things they didn't get done on their to-do list, instead of really giving themselves credit for the one really big thing that they did. They don't even see that. Like, we have a really hard time with a lot of ladies just seeing, you know what, you're better than you were last week. You're better. So what? The scale didn't freaking move. You lost 5 inches. Do you not see that that's a win? No, some of them absolutely don't. Like 5 inches. Like, you went down a pant size, but the scale didn't move. So but they beat themselves up. We do. We all do. We're that way in business too. And I think that's on every aspect of our life, whether it's a weight loss journey or being a mom. We're always judging ourselves, I think, even more than other people are judging us.
Oh yeah. Cause no one gives a shit about us. I feel like one thing I've learned about being like online and putting out content and stuff like that is that people don't like you. They just turn it off. They don't like sit there and watch and be like, I hate Nate Palmer. That guy sucks. Except for that one person on YouTube.
We all have those once in a while.
You gotta have at least one if you're doing anything right.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we're right. We put 100% pressure on ourselves as well. You said your husband's never said no to you in the 10 plus years you guys been together?
I'm sure he has to some extent, but not, if it ever came down to a point where, like, if I asked him for help, like just a couple weeks ago, I was at a point where I was like, I'm about to lose my mind. I was exhausted from, all things that are going on with the kids, and he's in a job transition and my own business and all the things. And I was just like, I need something. I'm about to like have an anxiety attack or something. And he's like, go get a hotel and go spend some time to yourself. I was like, okay, I'm in. And I went and spent 2 days just for me. No, he's never said no in a sense of like, if I need help, like, he's all in. He always has been with the kids and anything. So he's always been my biggest supporter. I'm definitely blessed there. But, just like any woman, or most women, 99.9% of women, it's really hard to even ask for help for some reason. We struggle with that.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Yeah. Is it a badge of honor? Is it is it a society thing? Is the pressure you put on yourself, like you were saying earlier? Is it like, yeah, because I notice that a lot. Like I see my mother-in-law a lot of times, and she's got some like joint issues, her low back bothers her, knee issues and stuff like that. And she's always trying to pick stuff up off the ground. I'm like, Tammy, the only thing I'm good at in life is picking things up off the ground. Like, give me a break. You don't need to pick up a heavy box. She's like, no, I got it. I'm like, I know you do. You could got it. But like, is that wise? Is that the choice you should be making?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Why, like what causes that? What in ourselves makes that happen?
I know. For me personally, it's generation. As I go, deep dive into my mom and then my granny above that, they're just, it's that pressure. It's internal. It is so internal, whether it be pride or whether some women it's pride, some women I know for me for a long time, I would fear, like, even as a coach, like for the longest time, I wouldn't be vulnerable. I always portrayed like I got my shit together, man. I'm on top of things. And now the more I'm actually open to saying, hey, I freaking fell on my face too. Like, hey, I, gained 4 pounds this weekend because I ate like crap or whatever. The more open I am, the more I realize, how other women's brains are thinking too. For the longest time, we put pressure on ourselves and our society and social media. We compare ourselves constantly to other people. So we're constantly thinking like we need to do it all. I really feel like more of it's an internal pressure, but it's also a little bit about self-worth as well. A lot of women don't feel like they're worthy enough for help. Like why? I'm not really sure why. I think it's the generation we live in, to be honest. The society we live in, the world of social media, it's constant comparing like crazy. So then it just turns into more internal pressure, and it's just ugly cycle that women are stuck in.
I've never experienced that. I've always been perfect. So when I put out stuff on social media, it's like I got it all together. It's just honest, not put on at all.
Man, that's all I used to do. And I'm like, my business sucks. Like, oh, it's because nobody relates to me. I'm not perfect.
It's also
As soon as
freeing
I
to
let
be
that
like,
go.
yeah, I screwed up. I drank a bunch of White Claws this weekend, got a little too weird.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
Human.
seriously, it's, it wasn't relatable at all. But, social media, I think, is a big part of our world too, which is a lot of the mental damage I think a lot of people are suffering from right now.
Comparing
It's a
ourselves to someone
blessing.
else's highlight reel. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. It's a blessing in some sense, especially for those of us that run businesses, but it's equally the opposite as well too.
Totally. I want to go back talking about your husband. What's his name again?
Sean.
Sean. With an H or an EA?
EA. SEAN.
Okay. All right. Well, that's one strike, but I think we can look past that. Now, Sean's never said no to you. So at what point are you going to be like, hey, Sean, why don't you do all your own laundry? What would he say? What would he say then? What's going to happen next?
He would be like, well, why don't you mow the yard? I know him. That is totally him. He's got a sarcastic, smart ass personality. I remember even before we had kids, we had this little agreement, like, I'll take care of the inside, you take care of the outside. I don't want to mow the yard. I don't want to work in the flower beds. I don't want to do that crap. I don't mind doing the inside stuff. So yeah.
Fair enough. You guys have a handshake agreement on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Something like that.
What is the nicest thing Sean has ever either gotten for you, like bought for you present wise, or done for you, like act of service wise?
That's a hard one. I'm not much of I'm not a very materialistic person. So things as far as what he's bought me, I honestly, I think more than anything is just when he does actually help and show appreciation. And like, for example, whenever I was, about to lose my mind a couple of weeks ago, he's like, just go get a room. I got this. And he drops everything and takes over the kids and is just, he's never complained if I ever come to him at that point. And it's been a long journey for me to even come to him for stuff like that. Like to even say, hey, I'm falling apart. Like I need a break. He gets it. That's probably some of the nicest, honestly, things that mean the most to me anyway.
Are you receive love in like an acts of service kind of way? Is that your go-to? Okay.
Absolutely. Like if he does the dishes or the laundry just out of randomness, that means more to me than any gift or flowers or any of that kind of stuff. Like, that's just that's definitely my love language.
This last Christmas, my wife had picked out something that she wanted, like some patio furniture. And she's like, can I get this for Christmas for myself? And I was like, sure. So she ordered it. So I didn't really get her anything for Christmas. And I was like the day before, I was like, this feels like a bad idea. I didn't really like put anything in your stocking or doing like that. So I didn't, and then fast forward like 3 weeks, I made the bed, like took the sheets out of the dryer, put the sheets on, like folded it up. And she like goes into the room thinking that she has to like go make the bed before like, it's 10 o'clock at night. We had a long day with the kids, whatever. And she goes, that's the nicest thing you've ever done for me. And I was like, cool, but maybe I suck as a husband.
Nope.
That feels more accurate here. So I feel that I try to throw down the acts of service. I'm not so good with the material, like gifts. I'm not a big gift giver. Trying to do better, working on it.
Yeah. Well, and and maybe her like learning her love language, because really and truly, like, again, just another conversation I have with the women that we coach all the time is asking their husband to do something like the dishes or fold the laundry or watch the kids so she can go have 5 minutes of sanity, quiet time for herself. Like, why? It's just such a hard thing. And then they get mad and then they build up resentment because they're not doing them. And I can't tell you how many conversations I have with moms. I'm like, ask him. He cannot read your mind. Like, I learned this the hard way. Believe me. You just have to ask, spell it out, tell them you need help. And when
we're
they
not the brightest. You gotta say stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't, and it goes both ways. Like, we can't read your mind either. We're, sometimes we try to control way too much. And then that leads us down a whole nother path.
What am I thinking right now?
Man, I don't even know. Your blank stare doesn't give me anything.
Really, I'm laying on I'm hungry for tacos pretty hard. So I'm surprised you didn't get there.
Did not pick up on that. See?
Oh man. Well, if you couldn't do it over this video, I don't think there's any hope for my wife to understand it either. So
No, paint it. If you want something, like that's another thing my husband always says. I'm like, babe, what do you want for dinner? He's like, I don't care, whatever you're cooking. I was like, no, you will really help me out if you just tell me what you want. Don't make me guess and figure it out.
I had a mentor when I was first like we had just proposed to my wife, we were fiancéed, had the wedding planning and stuff like that. And I was talking to a bunch of different people about like, what has been successful in your marriage? What advice do you have for me? And one guy who is not like the guy I would go to for a lot of advice, he's like one of my clients. He gave me some interesting advice. He said, pick one task that's primarily like the female task in the relationship, like whether that's like clothes, floors, dishes, whatever else. Pick one of those and then you own that forever. Like that's your thing. And I was like, that is really interesting. So I try to do the dishes. That's my go-to. I try to get that out of the way so she doesn't have to deal with it. And she still does them like occasionally, but I try to own that piece.
Yeah, no, that's great advice for sure.
Yeah, it was nice. It's nice. It was nice to get a lot of different people's feedback, going into the scariest relationship in my entire life.
Yeah, it is scary.
It's super scary. Yeah. So what advice do you have for like the dads out there, people who are listening, who, want to support our wives, our moms, like in a way that allows them to have more space. I love what you said about Sean being like, yeah, go take a couple nights at a hotel. So I feel like when a shower feels like a vacation for moms, like that's probably indicative that there's need a little bit extra space in their life. What can us dads do to do better?
I think, it's hard because you guys are kind of in a hard spot sometimes, even when you ask us, hey, can I help you with anything? Women were really good at like, no, I'm fine. I'm good. Got this. Maybe my biggest thing is not take her being fine as really her answer sometimes, because a lot of times that's not the case. Or, I saw something the other day. It was a quote that just really hit me too. It was talking about a mom and not taking it personal, like if she's ignoring you or maybe not necessarily giving you the attention that you need, in y'all's relationship, so to speak, because sometimes the mom is just so freaking exhausted, but also so incredibly hard-headed. They won't tell you, and they won't tell you that they're exhausted and they could need help, and just maybe being a little bit more aware, of little stuff like that, and try. I know it's so easy for me to say, hard to do, not take it personal in a sense of she's not really ignoring you. She's just exhausted and tired and plays the role of mom, entrepreneur, wife, house cleaner, dishwasher, all the hats that she wears. Mm-hmm. And then just recognize that it's not always easy for them to ask for help. It's just in our DNA for some reason. I don't know.
I feel like there's a couple of things that I try to do, and I don't necessarily have like the best advice in the world, but I know that my wife really can't relax and like come down if the house is dirty. So like if there's stuff all over the floor and I'm like, what can I do? It'd be like, just go make sure that she has the ability to relax, whatever that looks like. So that's do the dishes, let's pick the like straighten or neaten. I'm not like a really neat person naturally, but I feel like seeing her bustle about until things are neat makes me be like, all right, well, that's kind of the standard. And if I want her to be able to like sit down and just chill with me without having her mind be like, got to pick this stuff up. Like that's kind of a role I'll try to fill, especially when I'm like, what do I do with my hands? I don't know. Everyone's losing their shit. So
yeah. Yeah. And just let her lose her shit sometimes and let her cry and then just know, like,
we're talking about my wife or my 3-year-old.
She'll go through it. Oh, well, the wife, we have moments like that too.
That's more of my 3-year-old's job. Lose her shit, cry, throw a tantrum, and then back to karate right after.
And then, that's my son. That's my son's, that's his role.
High highs, low lows.
Yep.
Speaking of kids, what are some of those times when like you've been like, I'm in control, I got this, I'm doing a great job, and then all of a sudden like the baby like shits your pants, you know what I'm talking about? And then it's like the house, this is on fire over here. There's like milk all over the rug. Like, have you had that moment where you're like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm out of options.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Trying to think of a specific one. I think more than anything, it's either like during the summer when they're both home, or or actually, something I could definitely relate to is not that long ago. My husband ended up with COVID, so he had to he quarantined in our house, like just locked him in, and I like literally laid plates at his door, and and none of us got it. He did. But it worked for us. But to be honest with you, we went right into that, into like my son is delayed in some cognitive and speech and stuff. So it went right into that, into starting speech therapy. So it was literally running all over the place with him. And then, yeah, I coached my daughter's volleyball too, which was my choice, and I love it. But it was just like, it was one of those, like, I can't even breathe, but I can't stop because I got to clean the house and do the dishes and feed everybody else. And then I've got to also go get to practice and drop my son off because he's not someone that can go with me. He's really wild in public. More of that, just the chaotic busyness, to the point where I'm pretty sure there's been many moments that I just end up snapping at somebody because I'm at the fuse. The fuse is stopped. It's burned out.
More like life is chaotic and everything is like you have zero time to yourself, more so than like your kid being like, look what I found. It's a knife. And you're like, oh no, put it down.
Yeah. Well, I haven't really had a ton of moments like that. Yeah. And it's more of the chaotic busyness, to be honest with you. And it would always stem from if I didn't get enough sleep was the key. I mean, I'm good at getting my workouts and all that stuff in now, but I've always been that way, obviously. But it also started with, how I was taking care of myself. My patience is so much shorter if I'm not getting the right amount of sleep or enough fuel in my body and all the things. So yeah, it's a common theme. If I lose my shit like that, it's usually coming off of something where I didn't get enough sleep and take care of myself in some sort of way.
All right, let's go there then. Like, what sleep tips do you got for moms? How do we upgrade?
Yeah, it starts with how you go to bed. That was a big learning lesson for me. I've been an entrepreneur from home since my daughter was born, and she's 7 now. And so until she started kindergarten, like bedtime routine, we don't need a bedtime routine. We got freedom. But that was so bad for me though. And I didn't realize it because at the time I was also teaching group fitness and I had to get up at 3:45 in the morning, but I wasn't going to bed till like 11-ish, by the time I got everybody asleep. And it was the worst thing for me to not have a bedtime routine for her. So the best thing for her was, for all of us, honestly, was routine. Get them in bed, take care of them. Literally, I used to look at moms crazy when I'm like, you put your kid to bed at 7. Wow. Now I'm like, oh, that's a smart mama right there.
6:45.
My kids never went to bed that early, but 8:30. And then I have a little bit of time for me and then shut it down. Everything else can wait till tomorrow. Mama's got to get sleep. And yeah, the biggest tips are the nighttime routine. Don't go in until 10, 11 o'clock at night and you're still trying to fold the laundry. That shit can wait.
Oh, you're right. I'm actually doing let's see, I'm about 8 or 9 days into a high dose melatonin experiment, seeing how like taking 50 or 60 grams of melatonin at night impacts my deep sleep and recovery and stuff like that. So I'm tracking it all the metrics. Oh, nice. I'll probably put an episode out talking about kind of the results from that. I want to do some 30-day challenges and stuff, but yeah, I think that I think like the biggest thing is nighttime routine. Like no matter, like so far I'm only 8 days into it, but it feels like if I go to bed, if I lay down after like 10:15, I get worse sleep than if I lay down before 10. And like most of the time I'm not falling asleep until 10:30, 10:45 anyways. But if I lay down a little bit earlier and I start that process of kind of unwinding, relaxing, reading a book a bit, then I always get better sleep. And not just like better sleep, but like my ring will track how long were you in bed and how much sleep did you actually get. And I always get more sleep the earlier I go to bed. So.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It really does all start there. And, another big common mistake so many people have is they'll go to bed and sit and scroll. And then it is late. And then their minds are as active and crazy. Yeah. So that's, bedtime routine, not only put them to bed, but then wind down without a phone in your hand. Don't scroll, don't spend your time on all that kind of stuff. Cause yeah, I mean, that affects your mindset in so many ways too, but it's going to keep you from getting that really good deep sleep that you need.
Last thing I just wanted to touch on briefly, postpartum. And I think that a lot of times trainers, people talk about postpartum in like the first like 6 months after having a baby, but truthfully, every mom is postpartum. They live postpartum
Right.
or after having a baby. What are some stuff that they need to keep in mind? What are some things they need to focus on? I'm curious. Hey, for myself, my wife just went to like a pelvic floor specialist, and she didn't even have like that big of a deal with like the diastasis recti, but it was still substantial enough that she needs to do some stuff to like repair the stretching of the abdominal muscles. And I can only imagine that like she's married to a trainer. I'm pushing her into like doing these sorts of things. I'm trying to create space for it. How many women are not addressing these things, and what do they need to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely get it addressed. And if you have that big of an issue, I mean, we've had some clients that I've worked with that were also there's physical therapy for that kind of stuff. I mean, you name it, get help. But at the same time, for me, I'll tell you the mistakes that I made coming off of having both of my kids. Don't go right back into what you were doing when you wherever you left off. You've got to get back to some basics. You got to get back to some core work. I mean, I give your body credit and grace for what it just went through. My biggest mistake I always made is I would try to jump right back in where I left off. And I was trying to go hardcore workouts, and I was lifting the weights and all that stuff. And after my son, I just kept hurting my back. And then obviously you're limited. Like, my core was not strong. Your body stretches and does all these amazing things. And look at it as that. I mean, give your body some major credit and love it for where you are at the moment. It took me I gained 60 pounds with both kids. And so, I mean, it took me, well, I'm 40 now, my son's 4. I mean, it took me honestly a couple years to really get back to where I wanted to be after both kids. I did not lose weight fast, despite what I looked like before. And, when I was postpartum, even my mother-in-law would remind me, Angela, you just had a baby. Stop putting that pressure. Yeah, you're human, and it took you 9 to 10 months to get to where you were. Don't think you're going to be back where you were overnight. It's just like where you are, women that we coach, some of them have literally been to fad diets and losing gain for 30 years. So why would you think you're going to get back to where you want to be in 2 weeks and 6 weeks? You got to reverse the 30 years of damage. Same thing with your body after having kids. Just ease back into it. Soak up the moments when they are small, because those times go way too fast. There will be all the time in the world to get your body physically back to where you want to be. Just fuel your body, work on some basics and some core, and then soak up that baby. Stop worrying so much about what you look like, and really soak them up, because I mean, as a dad, like, time goes way too fast and they grow way too fast. You don't get time back in your life. You can get your body back at any point in time, but you can't get the time back. So don't miss out on
little kids for like 4 years.
Do what?
You only have little kids for like 4 years, and then they're big. Then they're big kids.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Whoa!" I know my daughter's 7, and I'm like 7 and going on 17. I'm like, "Where did my baby go?" Yeah, soak it up. I mean, and then when it comes time to start working out and doing more, let them see you. Let them, yes, we need our me time. Another common mistake among moms, and one that I made as well. Like, I was always trying to figure out when I could get my workout on without them. Now, like, I mean, if they wake up, cool, come join me or watch me or whatever. Like, you're an example for them. So don't hide what you're doing. Like, let them be a part of it. If that's just what your day ends up like, if you can get it by yourself, awesome. But let them also see you. Like, the best way you can teach them to take care of themselves in the future too.
Love it. All right. So before we wrap up, I just wanted to kind of throw this out there. I didn't ask you about this ahead of time, so you might not be prepared, but are there any like family traditions that the Campbells have, or any things that your kids have said that are just like so funny they become like a part of your normal family, like lexicon and like vocabulary? Like, let us in. Let us behind you mentioned before that you are more transparent on social media. Let us into the Campbell family. What do you guys talk about at dinner? What's that look like?
Man,
give me something fun here.
tough.
No pressure, but it better be really fun. But no pressure. But
yeah, no pressure. Man, that's a tough one because I'm trying to think.
I'll just tell you something that my daughter said the other day while you think about that.
Yeah.
She's like, she bangs on the back door and goes, poo-poo, it's an emergency. And I was like, did you find some? She's like, tears the door open. She runs to the bathroom. I was like, oh, okay, got it. All right. So I kind of like waiting outside the bathroom for her to be like, I'm done. And then I just hear her inside the bathroom, just kind of babbling and like talking. And she goes, all right, poo-poo, it's time for you to go. Say hi to your parents for me. And then flushes the toilet.
Oh my God, that's great.
And I was like, whose daughter are you? Because definitely not mine. I'm way more normal than that.
Man, I can't think of a specific, like what they say. And my son still isn't really saying a ton. But I mean, just little things that they do. I will tell you, my daughter, we were just watching some videos the other day of her because, again, I've worked from home since she was born. So she's always watched me do like videos or stuff like this or what, like she was always in that corner watching. So now she'll grab my phone. Like my phone is full of little videos from her. And there's one not that long ago, actually she was 4, that we were playing over and over and over the other day, just laughing so hard. And it was, she was just randomness and talking about, and in the bathroom, I was naked. And then she goes into talking about, I don't know, like her pet or something. It was so cute though. It was so random. Just her little mimics and doing little videos. It just cracks me up. That's really her thing right now, actually. It's kind of funny.
I love it. I just can't wait for like me to like walk in on her, like talking to the mirror and being like, all right, and just smash that subscribe button.
Oh, she does. I mean,
she says that.
She'll do my phone when she's doing a little bit of, now subscribe below, comment below. And I'm like, this is
She's getting the call to action.
I know she's watched mommy a little too much, or maybe not. Who knows? She might be an influencer one day for all I know.
I think it's funny that no kids today want to be plumbers. They all want to be TikTok influencers. But
oh my God, I know.
Maybe if you could ask your daughter if she would do the intro for this episode, that would be fantastic.
Oh my gosh, that'd be great.
I need that good call to action. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Angela, thank you so much for being on. Let me ask you some weird questions about do the game show. 6 for 6, best contestant so far.
Yes.
Where can people catch up with you? What do you got going on? Where can we find more about the one, the only Angela Campbell, the Fit Mompreneur?
Yeah, honestly, the couple places, but the main place, honestly, I run a free Facebook group on Facebook. We've got 8,500 ladies in there, running a free challenge this next week, actually, just educating women on processed food and the damage it's doing to their bodies. So easiest place you can actually go to fitmamagroupforwomen.com. It'll send you right to it.
Mama, M-A-M-A?
M-A-M-A,
fitmamagroupforwomen.com.
mamagroupforwomen.com, and you'll find me, connect with me, and get in the group. And a lot of things in there that we do on a regular basis, of course, and can go from there if you need more help past that.
Angela, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We'll throw that link in the show notes, but you probably don't need it. It's fitmamagroupforwomen.com. Jump into join Angela, talking with other mompreneurs, people who have gone through it, been there, need some support. Don't wait, y'all. If you need that support, the best time to ask for it is right now. Angela, have an amazing rest of your day. We'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you. You too.